Okay. My name's Graham from Tri Coaching Partnership. This is one of our trainers, Stewart Lochrie. Stewart, tell me a bit about yourself.
Hi Graham. So my name is Stewart Lochrie and I own a driving school based in Glasgow. The driving school is called Caledonian Learner Driver Training. We supply driving instructor training, we do ADI development, and we offer franchises. And that's what I do.
Okay, cool. So when did this all start, Stewart? Tell me how this all happened.
So I became a driving instructor in 2009, the time of the last recession.
Yeah.
Made redundant. I used to work in hospitality management and I trained to become a driving instructor, used my redundancy money, as many people do. And I actually looked at a few different driving schools and I ended up going with a local one, which was called Caledonian. And I got very friendly with the owner. And when it came time for him to retire, he was looking to sell his driving school. And my wife and I had a chat about it, did a business plan, approached a few people, and we ended up buying it. That was in 2012 that I bought it.
So 2012. So what have you done in your journey from 2012 to 2020? What's happened?
So from 2012 to 2020, the first part of that, I paid off the debt that I'd taken on to buy the driving school. So that was a bit of a long process. That took a little longer than we thought. But once we got the debt cleared, what we managed to do was clear the debt and grow the driving school at the same time, which was always going to be a really, really important part of the business plan. So that we didn't come out of debt with a smaller driving school than we had bought, so that we worked hard to do that. I mean, we did all the obvious things that anybody buying another business we do. We revamped the website, we got some photography, we got some branding redone, we did some CPD, and we tried to create a kind of ethos around the brand, about what kind of driving school we wanted to be. Because driving schools have two markets. Driving schools have a learner driver market, and we have a driving instructor market. And the aim for every driving school is to be the best in their area for both those markets, and that's what we've tried to do.
Okay, so well, tell me about yourself and your own continued professional development. What have you done? Because you become an instructor in 2009, but before you tell me what you did before 2009, which gave you the foundations to be where you are now. Okay,
so I worked in hospitality management, but I didn't always work in hospitality management. I started as a waiter. Okay. And I kind of worked in every single department in the hotel. You quite often hear people saying that they work their way up. That's not really the way I think about it. I worked my way around.
Yeah.
Because it's not hierarchical. I don't think of it as hierarchical. I worked in many different departments. I had a couple of different mentors. I guess the way to think about it is, someone told me once that when you learn your job, don't just be happy with that. Learn the job of the guy standing next to you.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the approach I had in hotels, and it served me well. I did okay. I ended up, as I say, at kind of management level. So that kind of not standing still kind of thing, which self-employed people tend to have, you try coaching. People who end up in management tend to have it. What's the next thing I can do here? I know my job, but I want something else to do now. I kind of think I brought that into the driver training industry, which could be very, very easy to pass your part 1, your part 2, your part 3, and then just go and teach.
Yeah.
To do that, I wanted to find out what else there was, what I was missing, what other ways of thinking were out there. And as you know, that led me eventually to try coaching.
Yeah. So when did you come and first meet us?
Oh, I've no idea.
It's a way back.
It was round about, I'm pretty sure it was just before I bought the driving school, so maybe 2011. 2011, because that would have been the time I was moving into instructor training with Caledonian. And I wanted a few more strings to the bow. So yeah, 2011, 2012 would be about right.
Yeah, and I can't remember. What did you do with us? Because refresh my mind.
So I just missed a Scottish BTEC 4. There wasn't one running, and I think I spoke to either you or Sue, and you mentioned that there might not be one running the following year for some reason.
Yeah.
So I went to Milton Keynes, I went to Newport Pagnell for the BTEC 4 over the course of 2011, 2012. The 4 modules. It was just the 4 modules at that time. You didn't have the car coaching. But it was really good. I met some really good friends on that course, and they're friends to this day. As I'm guys would say the same thing.
Yeah, and that shows some commitment, isn't it? You get on a plane, I presume, in Glasgow, and to fly to Luton. Then Luton is not actually that local to Milton Keynes. It's doable, but it's not that local. It's still another half an hour drive or more up to Newport Pagnell. Then to do that, and then to reverse the journey back again, showed some commitment to your learning, definitely.
Well, I was very fortunate. I think on occasion I had some people who would pick me up from Luton Airport and take me. I think.
I don't know who they would be by any chance. Yeah.
Yeah, it cost me a few pints, but that's cheaper than a taxi. So yeah.
Yeah. No,
he picked me up a couple of times as well.
Yeah, no, that was good, and it helps develop relationships, because relationships are great in business, aren't they? That's really the key, and it probably says something about your strengths as it goes, because to make that commitment, what are your strengths? Because you're a business owner, you're a driving school owner, what are those strengths, Stuart, that you possess?
So I think my main strength. And my wife would argue whether or not this is classed as a strength, but I take it as a strength, okay? One of my strengths is I get bored very, very easily.
Okay.
Doing the same thing all the time. And in business, I think that's a strength, because it encourages you to look around for the next thing. You can dress it up any way you like, but I'm taking that. That's
okay. Well, as she's not here, we'll give it to you.
yeah. Keep your voice down. Yeah, keep your voice
down. Okay, yeah. Don't she can come on and sort of shoot us both down in flames, because I mean, I have sometimes my boredom threshold is not very high. So I have a great amount of empathy with that strength, and I think it's a fantastic strength to have. Yeah, but I would, because I've got the probably a concentration span of a piss gnat at times. So you've come a long way. You've done the BTEC 4 with us. What are you looking for? And I know actually I want to touch on something, because the BTEC 4 actually put you off in another direction, didn't it, with your learning? It encouraged you to go somewhere else. Tell us a little bit about that.
It did, yeah. So when I finished the BTEC 4, I really enjoyed the process of getting back into a kind of educational environment, the kind of the part where we had to do the assignments. I quite enjoyed that, and I knew I wanted to go and do something else, so I had to make a decision whether to look for the next qualification in the driver training industry, or whether to do something else. And I spoke to a few people, in particular, I spoke to Carol Morley.
Okay.
She'd went back and done a master's somewhere, I can't remember exactly where it was. And I'd remember speaking to her about that at one of the tri-coaching events. So I spoke to her about it, and I was thinking about it, and I thought, and I did some reflecting, and I thought, if I learned anything on my tri-coaching BTEC level 4, it was that there are things more important in life than work.
Yep.
And as a result of that, I decided to, yes, go back into education, but I went and did something that I was interested in from a non-career point of view. So I actually went to night school at the University of Glasgow, and I did some classes in ancient Greek and Roman history, and I qualified through that, and I got a place at University of Glasgow to go and do my degree. I dropped out of university twice when I was a kid because I went when I was too young and I was messing around. So it was kind of unfinished business. So I'm halfway through an honours degree at the University of Glasgow for classic.
Yeah, well done. And I'm completely ignorant. So in terms of Romans, Marcus Aurelius,
Marcus Aurelius, yeah,
that's the guy.
The philosopher emperor, yeah. You remind me of him actually, yeah.
I got Stoic values.
Yes, that's the man. He was a big Stoic. But you know, I wouldn't have come back to do my degree if it wasn't for try coaching. Regardless of the business things, it was good thinking, that goal setting process and self reflection that I got from the BTEC course that led me back to university.
So, look, you know, it's been a tough time for our industry. What sort of goals have you got over the next year, Stewart?
My goals for the next year revolve around my driving instructors. We have a brilliant team. I have driving instructors with Caledonian who have been with Caledonian longer than I have.
Okay.
You know, they looked after me when I qualified as a driving instructor. Now, a lot of our driving instructors, as is the case across the country, have been okay through this process because they'll have paid off their mortgages, their kids are grown up and left home. But that doesn't go for everyone. There are young driving instructors in this industry as well. Last year, we had a driving instructor qualify who's 21 years old.
Ooh.
With a young family. These people didn't get any support.
No.
The government, the UK government anyway, and they have mortgages, hefty mortgages, which we're getting relief on just now, but that won't always be the case. And my priority is to get them up and running, earning money, keeping safe, and keeping their families safe. And there is no other priority at the moment, as far as I'm concerned. Everything else is shelved.
Yeah, that reminds me, Stewart, you're a member of the ADINJC. I interviewed Lynn Barry the other day.
Yep.
I know that you're heavily involved in Scotland with the ADINJC. Tell us about your role up there, because it's slightly different, because you're a different country, apparently.
Yeah. So they say. Yeah.
So to say, yeah.
So I'm the they call me the ADINJC ambassador for Scotland.
Okay.
So I'm the one that the Scottish members can call or email if they have any questions. And I also host, before lockdown, I hosted regular meetings, quarterly meetings in kind of local hotels around about the area. We had guest speakers coming to those kind of things. It's actually, in the absence of associations in Scotland, we don't have too many associations. It seems to be, associations do very well in England, but certainly the west coast of Scotland, we don't tend to have them as much. So it was kind of filling a gap there and trying to get some representation for a lot of voices. There's a lot of driving schools, there's a lot of really small driving schools. And then since lockdown, obviously we can't meet up in hotels, so we've moved that online. So we do quarterly, actually they're more frequent actually since COVID. They're probably every 3 weeks, Scottish ADINJC webinars. And the feedback on that has been really good. And it's been really interesting to be involved in as well, I've got to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, it's always good to try and give something back. You know, I think it's an important part. I mean, these interviews are really about giving something back if we can. So because you've mentioned about training driving instructors, what's the best thing that you get from training driving instructors or PDIs? Because they're the same, they're people.
Yeah. I mean, the best thing about training a PDI to qualify as a driving instructor is it's the satisfaction of helping someone into a better life situation. I've taught PDIs who have been in jobs that they have despised. I've taught PDIs who have been unemployed for 2-3 years at a time, unable to get a job in their chosen field. And I've taught PDIs who have been unable to get their preferred kind of job due to childcare issues or carer issues, looking after people in their households. So for me, the satisfaction of giving people those skills and giving them the access to that green badge, which enables them to live a more fulfilling life, is the big thing for me. That's why I do what I do. There's no doubt about it. And I've had this discussion with many people. Many people work in our industry because they have a real deep-seated passion for road safety, for example. Yeah. And I don't mean this to sound controversial, but I hope it's not taken that way. I don't happen to have some kind of deep-seated passion for road safety. I have a deep-seated passion for people and helping people. Road safety is important. Road safety should be a given. Yes, we can always save more lives by improving road safety. But with my driving instructor trainer head on, it's about improving people's quality of life.
Okay, which actually is, I mean, is that why you got interested in coaching? Where did your coaching journey begin? Did it begin with us or did it begin sometime previous?
That's a really good question. I think I must have been aware of coaching when I first got into management in hotels. I have a vague recollection of reading a book called and I don't know the pronunciation, the Tao of coaching, T-A-O.
Okay.
Coaching.
Oh yeah, the Tao actually.
Is it the Tao? There we go. Thank you.
T-A-O is actually the Tao. Yeah.
Thank you, Marcus Aurelius. That's what. So I remember reading that when I was getting into management and thinking, you know, that kind of makes sense, but I didn't have the skills to kind of make it work in that setting. You can't learn coaching from a book alone, and that's what I was trying to do. So it got thrown on a pile, and I just carried on shouting at my staff. So I was aware of coaching as a kind of principle, if you like. But I can't remember. I can't remember anything else until try coaching, if I'm being honest.
Because I mean, the reason I ask is because you've gone on to deliver the BTEC Level 4 in coaching for driver development in Scotland. You're one of our ambassadors, as well as being an ambassador for the ADINJC. You're one of our ambassadors, and how do you think coaching's made a difference? To you and to the people that you work with?
I think it has. It's going to sound very grand. I don't mean it to sound as pompous as this, but I think it genuinely does open people's minds a little bit. I gave my personal example about going back to school.
Yeah.
But in terms of if you train people to become driving instructors with the kind of mindset that I have about helping people improve their quality of life, then coaching is a very big part of that, because for me, one of the biggest aspects of coaching is emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
And it's been really good fun, actually, and really rewarding being able to deliver the BTEC 4s for you. I really love doing that. It's been a great opportunity because we get to dive really deeply into emotional intelligence a little bit more, so I've enjoyed that. But if we can, emotional intelligence, the brilliant thing about emotional intelligence is that it doesn't matter how much you have to start with. There are things that you can do actively on your own to improve your emotional intelligence. It's not like IQ. Generally speaking, you're stuck with your intelligence level that you're born with. It's up to you how you use it. But you can improve your emotional intelligence by practicing self-reflection, by practicing self-awareness, by practicing listening to other people a little bit more. And if I can get PDIs to do that, then I feel like I'm just increasing their emotional intelligence is kind of the goal.
That's interesting, because I just have written my first article, because I'm going to rewrite some articles about coaching. I've just rewritten my first article about LinkedIn to go on LinkedIn. Yeah. And it's actually all about self-coaching, about starting with you, self-awareness. So that's good, because I like it when you can hear the same thing coming back at you. It's
yeah. And as you know, one of the key things on the BTEC 4 is the way the course is set up. If you can't apply these principles to yourself, you're going to struggle to apply them to a client.
Absolutely.
You've got to. I always get this mixed up. You've got to walk the talk. Is that right? Yeah, you've got to walk the talk.
Yeah. You've got to, you can talk the walk, can't you, and walk the talk. Yeah. And to be able to do both is essential to be a coach. Coaching begins with self-awareness. And we all become unself-aware at times. Like once I've had a few pints and I'm shouting at the TV and Chelsea just got beat by West Ham, and I'm not very self-aware. Yeah. Again, yes, twice this year. I'm not very happy. So we lose it. And we have to get it back at times. We have to be aware that we're not always self-aware. Okay. Yeah. Do you have any lifelong dreams, Stewart? Like climb Everest or
lifelong dreams. That's a good one. Can we come back to that?
You can come back to it. Is that bucket list sort of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll come back to that. Yeah.
Okay. What's impacted you most in your career to date? What have you found that's been most influential for you?
Well, I'm not just saying this because you're interviewing me, but tri-coaching has been really important. Not just from the BTEC 4 perspective, but from the people I have met through tri-coaching. Some of the people that I have met through tri-coaching, I actually work with now on a kind of daily and weekly basis, as you know. We have, hope you don't mind the plug, but
no, I don't mind any plug.
We have Caledonian has regional partners in various locations throughout England. We don't just operate in Scotland. So we have partners in Milton Keynes, in Leicester, and Hertfordshire as well. And these guys are, I don't work with these guys because they are brilliant instructor trainers. They are brilliant instructor trainers. They are audit registered. They are BTEC 4 qualified. I work with them because they're my mates.
Yeah.
And I've been to the Chinese restaurant with them in Newport Pagnell and had a couple of beers with them, more than a couple of beers at times. That's why I work with them. They're my mates and they're good guys. And that's been, in terms of importance, it's been really enjoyable, but it's also helped me grow my business.
Okay, fantastic. And it is that, I like to think of tri-coaching partnership as a family. And we have uncles, aunties, brothers, sisters, and it's a diverse family, and within that family we have different households, and that's the way I think about it. We don't all live together, but we all share the same ethos and morals and beliefs, I suppose, and that's what's attracted us all together. So what's your greatest achievement outside of work? And you can't have your kid, so what's your greatest
you can't what, sorry?
You can't have children, so
okay.
Yeah, what's your greatest achievement out of work?
My greatest achievement outside of work would probably be, well, your greatest achievement is something you're proud of, isn't it? So you don't need to feel bad about being proud. I'm quite proud that I got back to university. At my age, I'm kind of mid-40s, and it's a little bit daunting going back to university with a crowd of 17 and 18-year-olds. I went to a lecture once. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Latin or something like that. And I was sitting in a room and I came from work, so I had my shirt and tie and my blazer on. I had my man bag, and about 5 past the hour, this kind of 17-year-old kid just came in. Looked like he just got out of his bed. Typical student, etc. Not that I was being judgmental, But he turned round to me and said, "Sorry, I'm late." He thought I was a lecturer. I went, "Yep, no problem. Go on, sit down, sit down." But it's been quite weird, and it's been a lot to manage.
Yeah.
You know, we have a toddler in the house, so, you know, getting the time to study and run the business and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm quite pleased that I've stuck it.
I think it's, you know, I think it's not arrogant, you know, to be proud of an achievement. I think it's good, because we're not often kind enough to ourselves, and it's important to remember to be kind to ourselves. And you know, what other people think is their choice. But I think you know, people would be proud alongside you. You know, it's a great achievement.
Yeah, I think the whole idea of setting goals is that it's something that you want to do, and what you have to get some kind of satisfaction from achieving that goal or working towards achieving it. Satisfaction, pride, accomplishment. Yeah, you've got to get something back from it. Otherwise, what's the point?
Absolutely. And if you don't tell your story, how do you inspire others?
Yes, yeah, that's very true as well. It's very true as well.
Okay, right. I've got a big question to ask you. Okay, and then I've got some trivial questions to ask you, but I have the real big interview question. So here we go. Yeah. How do you think I rate as an interviewer?
I think you're possibly the worst interviewer I've been interviewed by in my life.
Okay, we'll move on. Thanks, Stewart, for that. Okay, what kind of car do you drive?
So I have a BMW. I'm afraid. Sorry.
It's not. Don't be sorry. I've got one as well.
Yeah, I have a BMW. It is off the road at the moment because the business insurance is quite high. I've not been in the car training. My wife's got a car, so there was no point in running two cars during lockdown. So it's actually off-road at the moment.
Okay. So if you could be anywhere in the world right now, where would you choose to be?
Rome.
Rome. You like them Romans, do you? Is it pizza and red wine, or is it just more cultural?
It's all of the above. It's the capital of the world, Graham. It's the best.
Okay. Yeah. All roads lead there.
So they say. Yep.
So they say. Yeah. Didn't they build a wall though to keep you lot in? Or was it to keep us out? I can't remember.
It was to keep the Scots out of Rome, yes, but it didn't work. I still made it. I still got there.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, all you ended up. Didn't you end up with the ice cream wars in Glasgow? Was that the Italians gave you that? The
Italians, well, yeah, we did end up with the ice cream wars. That's a very interesting part of our history. Yeah.
Okay.
Historian as well, Graham.
It is, yeah. I know everything about nothing, mate. What's the last book you read?
The last book I read, well, I just finished it the day before yesterday. Fiesta by Ernest Hemingway.
Okay.
It's a little short book. It's only about this thick, but it's about a journalist who goes to the bull runs in Pamplona. You know, where they let the bull out the streets, and it's a fiesta, like a 7-day party in Pamplona, and it's about bullfighting and all that kind of stuff. It's really good. Lots of food, lots of wine, lots of parties.
There's a theme.
Yeah. Hemingway's great.
Yeah, cool. So during lockdown, or what's been the best movie or box set that you've watched? You can go back actually the last year. What's been the best one?
Oh, I can't remember what I was watching a year ago. We've been watching a lot of Netflix though at night. The best movie recently was, I can't remember the name of it, but it was George Clooney, and George Clooney plays an assassin who is trying to retire. And it's, you know, the kind of Godfather thing. When I think I'm out, they pull me back in again. It's that kind of vibe. And he, you know, he falls in love, and all the other assassins come after him. But it's really nice. It's shot in a little tiny village in Italy. It's really picturesque.
You're just watching it for the scenery, Stuart.
Yeah, it's Italy again. Yeah, it must be. Honestly, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any heroes in that whether that's Superman, Batman, or Martin Luther King, whoever? Do you have any heroes?
Hero. I probably have a few. Off the top of my head, are we talking heroes? Kind of celebrity level or mentors?
You can have mentors, you can have celebrities, you can have your aunt, you can have whoever you want.
So my mentor is the guy who was my boss as I was working my way around all these different departments in the hotels. His name is Mr. Gibson, and he taught me lots of things when I was a waiter and a bellboy. Like, he taught me how to tie a Windsor knot in my tie, and he taught me about the importance of a double cuff shirt when you worked in a 5-star hotel, and he taught me how not to say things like use and all that when you were speaking to people. So yeah, and I travelled around different hotels with him, so he kind of took me with him. So he's my mentor, and he was round for lunch the day before yesterday.
Oh, nice.
In the garden, and he was my wife's boss for a while as well. So my mentor, when I was buying the driving school, I went to ask his advice. When I was thinking about employing someone for the business, I went to see him. So he's been my mentor for longer than he probably bargained for. It's been a.
And so, what's he get paid in red wine?
He get paid in very nice coffee the other day.
Okay.
That did him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's my mentor.
What do you like to do for fun? What do you do in your spare time, Stuart?
So I like to play five-a-sides. I'm missing the five-a-sides obviously at the moment. Since lockdown, I've started playing the guitar again. I used to play guitar when I was a kid, in my 20s. I gave it up because I wasn't very good. But I've started playing guitar again since lockdown. My wife is delighted. So that's my spare time at the moment. I love reading. I read a lot.
Okay. You could get a Gibson guitar.
I could get a Gibson guitar. I see what you did there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Stuart, I've got 2 more questions. They're just fun questions. If you were an animal, which one would you want to be?
I think I'd like to be a giraffe.
Okay.
They're quite cool. And they have a very good viewpoint on everything else that's going round about. But they don't offend anyone. They don't hurt anyone. They just watch and eat.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, and you get to go to the top of the tree.
That's it. The highest fruit. Yeah.
Okay. If you could choose one superhero power, what would it be and why?
Oh my goodness. If I had one superhero power, it would be to make my daughter eat her dinner in less than 90 minutes.
Okay.
That would be my one superpower.
Okay. So, did you get time to concentrate or to think about what your lifelong dream was going to be?
I guess, given that we've spoken about it quite a lot today, I would love to have a little place in Italy to go over the winter months. I hate the cold, and I live in Scotland.
You live in Scotland.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be my ultimate dream, to have a little kind of place that we went to for a couple of months of the coldest months of the year.
Okay.
Retire. We're not allowed to retire there anymore, so.
Italy could be pretty damn cold, though.
Yeah, you'd have to, I guess. Yeah. But, not as cold as Scotland, Graham.
No, you're right. So that's good. So you got a new goal out of today. You're buying a bus.
I'll write that down.
Yeah. Okay, Stuart, it's time to say goodbye. So thank you very much for being my interviewee today. It's been a pleasure. All you got to do is say goodbye to everyone.
It's been great, Graham. Thanks very much for having me. I'll speak to you soon.
Okay.